So inevitably there's going to be some people that listen to this that either agree, disagree, whatever, but don't do it. Like they don't get out. They don't break their routine. They don't try and shake things up. Maybe zooming out of like a human nature, how we function. Why do you think that is? Why do you think so many people might hear this? They're in pain. They want to feel better.
Yeah.
At least it seems like they do, unless they're lying to themselves. Why do you think that's so hard for people?
We naturally have the ability to recognize what's happening in front of us. It's primitive instinct that we can pattern recognize to develop a safety net so we don't have to experience pain and repetition from the same stimulus. Now, with us, and with what I'm saying, is you have to be able to override that natural feeling that comes up when it says, don't do it.
Mm,
This person's going to cheat on you, or you're not going to get the job. Just fucking leave. They're giving it to Terry. So don't
mhm,
even waste your time here. You have to override it and know where you're going and know these very values that you developed, that you are going to be that person that you want to be, or you're going to heal from this very thing that you're trying to heal from.
mm,
If you don't have that, then you don't have the ability to elevate yourself, and you'll be plateaued.
mm. Yeah, it's almost too strong a force to overcome. Like if you don't go in prepped, ready, done your homework, and in some ways ready for battle every day, because that's how I think of it. Like as you're saying it, right? There's whether it's a subconscious mind or whatever it is, it's an ongoing thing. It's constantly trying to pull us back into that comfort zone, into that place where it thinks that's where we need to be. And I think that's what makes it hard for a lot of people too, is there's a sense of like, all right, if I can just get over this hump, then I'll be set. And like certainly it does build and there is like a compounding effect, but you can never let your guard down. Like you constantly have to be working towards, at least what I found for myself, you constantly have to be working towards this. And I think some people either A, don't realize that, or maybe more likely B, they do. And they're like, shit, that's scary. Every day? You want me to do that every day? Like that seems like too much, you know?
Well, what you said with letting your guard down. Now, I would be careful with the language used.
Mm,
You want to be vulnerable. You want to embrace your vulnerabilities as your authentic self. You want to be okay. If you feel hurt today, you should let that shit out.
mm,
And if somebody asks you that question, hey, how you feeling? My day was pretty fucking shitty.
mm,
Like I've been fighting with my significant other and it's been rough and I miss my child and there's just a lot of shit. But you know what? That's okay because this is normal. And when
mm,
you have that feeling inside, knowing that it's normal, because the people you're talking with know they're probably going through the same shit and you could help them,
mm.
then you'll be comfortable with what you're going through and you will naturally make the right choices that will help you overcome this.
Mm. I like that you brought that up because I have this debate in my head and with other people often. I like everything you said. And I think you're right. I'm glad you clarified that because in many ways, having your guard up is the problem when we feel like we have to
Yeah.
be somebody else or be something different. How do you think about the flip of that though? And like striking that balance? Because let's be honest, right? We're humans. There's lots, again, I'll just say it this way. I think our minds are inherently flawed just because that's the way they are, right? We're not bad
Mhm.
people necessarily, but you could imagine a scenario where if you open the door to people where they feel like, oh, it's all about vulnerability, letting my guard down, being honest. If somebody asks me how I'm feeling, I'm going to tell them. I could see that same subconscious mind exploiting that and being like, oh, it's okay now. And like, I'll just tell
Yes.
everybody like, oh, my day sucked and this was bad and this was bad. So then everybody will take it easy on me and I'll have no ambition and I'll never really question myself to try and improve and get better because it's okay. This is just where I am. And I know that's not what you're saying, but like, how do you try and balance that?
Beautiful. Thank you. So having that level, just the right level of transparency. Now that's the biggest issue today in organizations. I mean, if you look at Facebook, if they were just open with, hey, we're utilizing these algorithms to manipulate the situation for our own benefit. If you would have known that before it became public,
Mm,
you would feel not as angry, but still pissed off. But the fact is, there has to be a balance, not too much, because then you don't, then there, if we look at it for a dating position right here,
mm,
let me start from the bottom and work my way up. It's unattractive. Oh my God, like she's talking about everything. I'm like, please just shut the fuck up. But now, if they're not talking and they're keeping everything to themselves, then I'm not interested. They're not interested in me, or there's other things. But having that right balance. Now let's take it up the next level. You're a manager. You're in charge of a team. That right balance. That is how we can lead our employees, not fucking micromanaging the hell out of them, but not being a laissez-faire leadership style and just sitting on the sideline and let them do all the fucking work and say, hey, you're doing great, keep it up. But now let's go to the next level. Your corporate leadership, you're at the very top of the hierarchy looking down. That level of decision making falls back on this level of transparency. That is what establishes a healthy culture, when there is the right amount of information that's being given.
And I think it goes back to a word you said before, to humility. I think that enables a lot of that transparency. When we don't have humility, when our ego gets too big, or we get too confident in that, like, I know the right answer, I'm doing it the right way, it's very easy then to lose that trend. Because why do I need transparency then? If I know I'm doing it the right way, like, who cares? So I think that humility, I think you touched on it before, really, really important.